Hey, how are you? My name is Mike from MikeStewart.ca, and today I'm going to talk to you about some interesting media coverage of pre-sale condo assignments of contract. There's recently been some media articles coming out saying that pre-sale condo assignments are shadow flips. This is not true, okay? A shadow flip is where somebody buys an existing property, and when it was occurring, it was typically a single-family house in an area that was very popular with offshore buyers. What would happen is somebody would buy the house under false pretenses and put a slip in an assignment clause, and what they would do is they would buy the house, and then the house would increase in value over the period of a few months, and then they would sell the rights under contract of that house to another buyer strictly for investment purposes, and they would do it in a very underhanded and quiet way. The buyer who would be assigning the property wouldn't tell the seller that they're doing it. They wouldn't, and they would do it in a very underhanded way. Now that's shadow flipping. Pre-sale condo assignments are totally and completely different. They're covered under some legislation called Real Estate Development and Marketing Act, and a pre-sale condo assignment is where somebody buys a pre-sale condo, and then what they do is they sell their rights in that contract for that pre-sale condo to somebody else. Now, one thing to note is they're totally legal, they're totally legitimate, and they're totally fine because they involve consent. Now, the original seller of a pre-sale is a developer. Now, as we know, developers here in British Columbia are some of the richest people and some of the most savvy people out there when it comes to doing business. These developers need to give written permission to allow a pre-sale condo assignment to occur, i.e. transfer ownership, but also they need to give permission to market it. It requires huge amounts of permission from the developer. If there's no permission from the developer, these assignments aren't going to happen. So the difference between shadow flipping is it involved no consent, it involved subterfuge, and it involved taking advantage of people. Pre-sale condo assignments involve consent, okay? So the person who originally sold the pre-sale, the developer, gives their consent to allow the assignment to happen, and it's transparency. So people know actually, the person who originally sold it know that it's being sold by the original buyer to somebody else. So totally different thing. Now, a second thing that these media outlets were saying is that pre-sale condo assignments drive the price of real estate up in Vancouver. Again, not true, okay? Pre-sale condo assignments represent more supply in a very tight market, okay? That actually keeps prices stable or even maybe pushes them down a bit when prices are rising really quickly. What we have is the mainstream media is vilifying things they don't really understand and blaming things they don't understand for the real estate market rising. The real reason the real estate market is rising here in Vancouver is because you have people wanting to live both in Canada and in Vancouver, and we have limited land supply. So you have a lot of demand, you don't have a lot of supply, that pushes up property prices. And that's the reason why property prices are high in Vancouver and continue to rise. So if you have any questions, feel free to call me, 604-763-3136, or email me at mike@mikestewart.ca. Thank you very much for watching, and I'd love to hear what you think.